What's up, everyone? It is your girl Gel Beauty 87 here, aka Grace Honey, and today we're getting into a new series I started. So this is episode 2 of my new series. It's called Old School versus New School. So basically, this is just a miniature version of the eyeshadow verses. So I have a palette from each brand. I have a palette from an older brand that came out with this type of color story a long time ago. I tried to make it between like 1 or 2 years because we know even though powder products last longer than other things, I didn't want it to be too long while I'm pulling palette from 5 years ago and you like, look sis. Now this palette is kind of older, but you can still buy it and it'll be fresh if you do prefer it over what I'm about to talk to you about. And I feel like people have been sleeping on this brand lately and I don't appreciate it. I feel like ever since they came out with this one palette that everybody was disgusted with, when it came to the formula and they fixed the formula, people didn't even check for them anymore. And I don't appreciate it. So I wanted to make this video to make sure you all pay yourselves attention to some Colored Raine, okay? Colored Raine is out here killing the game. I love Colored Raine. This is actually the first pressed pigment palette I bought that was a rainbow palette. So it is near and dear to my heart. This is the Colored Raine Vivid Pigments and Shadows palette. I absolutely love this palette to this day. I went and got a fresh one because mine was too old. It was being real disrespectful. So I was like, it's time to replace it. But the point is, I don't care that I do have the Blend Bunny palette and 5 other rainbow palettes. This is always going to be in my collection. Okay? So this is what she looks like on the inside. I don't know if anybody who has a code with Colored Raine though that I know. So I can't give you a code for Colored Raine, unfortunately. I mean, I figured Trend Move might have one. So you can type in Trend Move and see if that works. I don't know anybody else who has one, unfortunately. But you know, this is what she looks like. Absolutely stunning. I mean, I got a whole row of blues and purples. I got a couple of greens, and then I got this cute little neon shade, which I love, and the red. So those are the majority of shades I usually use in here. I occasionally use the yellow and like some of these shades just to dust over, like this is my dusting over shade. I felt like they did a good job of picking that out, but since they're a black owned brand, I figured they would put a deeper one instead of that light one that all the other mainstream brands like to put in. So that's one of the main reasons I really love this palette. But the color story is just simply stunning. I remember when they first came out with this in a single set, and then people loved it so much so they made it into an actual palette. So that is the history of the Colored Raine Vivid Shadows and Pigments palette. Sorry, Vivid Pigments and Shadows palette. I always say it backwards, but the point is I love the palette, and that's the second one I've had, and I abuse and love mine a lot. It was quite dirty and disgusting. The palette it will be going against is the Colourpop Matte About Hue palette. So this is the palette that came out with last year in 2022. You're seeing this in 2023, even though I'm filming it in 2022. But like, as you can see, it has like a similar color story. They did more of a monochromatic one with each row, kind of like they like to do, kind of like the Blend Bunny palette did. I actually already compared this to the Blend Bunny palette. I've compared the Colored Raine palette to the Blend Bunny palette. That's why I wanted to compare it to this Colourpop palette, because I felt like this would be a good alternatives if you don't necessarily want to try the Colored Raine formula because you heard about the Juicy Boost, because that's the palette I was referring to when I was referring to them. They reformulated to be, I think it was vegan and cruelty free, and I think before they were just cruelty free and they weren't vegan. So when they changed over and they did the Juicy Boost, people absolutely hated the formula on it, which caused people to not really check for the brand anymore. But I still think they make gorgeous, wonderful products. That's why I wanted to make sure I made this video for you to check out their quality, because since I have a brand new one, we'll see how the new quality is versus, like, you know, the older one. I'm hoping I like it okay, because I've actually never used that palette. I just got it like maybe a month ago during the sale. So y'all, I'm praying. We're gonna do that eye off camera though, so I'll tell you my thoughts on camera while we're using this one. But as you can see, it has a lot of similar color stories. It has these couple of like deeper mustardy yellow shades for me to use as like dusting over shades. It has a nice row of pastels at the top for airbrushing and whatnot. So it does have a little more variety than the Colored Raine one does, but you gotta think Colored Raines came out a while ago, so they had time to watch Blend Bunny and other brands and perfect like the way they wanted to do their rainbow palette versus the way Colored Raine did. I like both of them just fine, but we'll see which one I like better. Do I like my old school palette better than this new school palette? You'll have to wait and see. So let me zoom you in real quick. If you're new to the channel, hi, hello there. How we do these videos is I'll swatch the old palette on my arm first, and then I'll swatch the new shade. So it's gonna be Colored Raine, Colourpop, Colored Raine, Colourpop, and so on and so forth, depending on how many shades I use. I'm gonna try to use a few different shades. I'm not gonna necessarily try to do a monochromatic color story, but knowing me, I like blue, green, and purple if you're new to this channel, and I occasionally like pink and red. So we'll either do a pink and red look or a blue, green, and purple look, or I might try to do all the color, as many colors as I can in each palette, just so we can see how each color performs on my skin tone. I haven't decided yet. I'm gonna go on camera and figure that out, girl. But if the curious was on my eyes right now, this is the Allure palette from Juvia's place. I actually have started another series in addition to this series, and that's why I have this palette on my eyes. So it's a lot of exciting stuff coming up this year, 2023, for you all. So I hope you're as excited as I am, and I will be right back with the color Raine eye on, and we'll figure out what's going on. Okay, girl. Okay. Okay, y'all. So this is I came up with the Colourpop Matte About You palette. Now we're gonna get into the colored Raine Vivid Pigments and Shadows palette. So I swatched them as following. This is colored Raine, Colourpop, colored Raine, Colourpop, colored Raine, Colourpop, colored Raine, Colourpop. So with the Colourpop shades, I had to mix a couple of the shades together just to get the look. But I was anxious to try the new Vivid Pigments and Shadows palette on camera with you all, because I don't know if the formula is going to be the same as the one I'm used to or not. So that's why I want to try it on camera so we can both see like how it's going on, how it's working. Because ever since Juicy Boost came out, people have been scared of their formula. So I was kind of nervous myself. Plus, I like to switch it up sometimes and do the older palette on camera as opposed to the newer palette. So with this one, I decided I would do the older palette on camera for the aforementioned reasons. So let's get into it, girl. I've been trying to film like a crazy lady. At about 11 o'clock, I'm gonna stop and like try to like cook something real quick to eat for lunch, and then I'll be back at it. So I'm starting off with this shade called Unbothered here. I'm gonna use that one. I'm gonna use the blue in the crease. This purple is our lid shade, and then this green is our outer V shade. So I did a little bit different than I normally do it, but because there was no actual like matte shade that matched this matte shade in the Colourpop one, I had to like improvise on what colors I use. As you can see, they still don't match like by a long shot. I feel like this is more like a peachy nude eyeshadow edition shade, whereas the Colourpop one, I had to like mix two pinks together because I feel like the orange wouldn't gonna give me what I needed either. So I'm just like, just blend this around while battery's trying to down me out. I've been filming maybe like an hour and a half, and this is I want to say my third eye, because I did a buy you don't need for a palette. This is my second old school versus new school. I got I think one more old school versus new school I want to use. I'm gonna use these palettes again with some different mattes, and then just go ahead and put the shimmers on there, because it's two shimmer palettes I'm battling. But y'all know I'm not going to do an all shimmer look. Like, I need some mattes to hook it up with. So now let's go into the blue shade. So I'm going to the shade Drip Drop and start putting that in my crease. As you can see, I feel like this blue is much brighter than the one in the other palette. I feel like it's working out so far though. Like, as you can see, the colors look pretty. Somehow I'm hoping to oxidize this down some and matches the other shade better. I would normally get up and get a battery, and I'm just like trying to get a good amount of this done before I go do that. So at least get like a couple of mattes on, a couple of mattes started. I'm gonna start the outer V shade, then I'll probably go off camera and just finish it. But I want to get a good majority of stuff done. I feel like the formula it was just as good as it used to, so I don't know if they just didn't change this one and they changed the other ones, because I'm not having any issues with it the way we were having issues with the Juicy Boost, which I'm happy about, because this is like my favorite palette from them. So God forbid something go wrong. So as you can see, I'm just doing my normal winging and connecting situation. So I'm gonna blend the rest of this off camera because I don't want the battery to die while I'm talking. And then I will come back and we'll put the purple matte on together, and then we talk about my thoughts on this palette as a whole. Okay, girl? Okay. Okay, y'all, so I filled it in while I was gone. Then we're gonna take this purple right here, and that's our lid shade. I didn't pick an inner corner shade just because I was like, I don't really care about having an inner corner shade. this color. I think it looks really, really nice with this combination of palettes. I feel like it just looks stunning. I mean, this color combination just looks perfect together. I'm here for it. It's a whole little vibe and moment for our numbers now. I'm here for all of it, okay? Looks nice. Saying like that just made me think of Colorful of me. I'm like, what is she doing? What's going on? I haven't seen a video from her in a little while. I see she been doing stuff like on Instagram because I saw a brand like posted her, but it's like I haven't seen her like make any actual videos recently. So I don't know if she just does her makeup every day and then just posts a picture of her makeup on Instagram or what, because I don't feel like she's making YouTube videos in it. And I'm like, oh man, what is going on? What are you doing over here? Okay, y'all, so this is the finished eye. These are both the finished eyes. Let's back up and talk about my thoughts, girl. Okay, so when it comes to the palettes, I feel like you should know which one just by default. I love my Colored Raine Pressed Pigments and Shadows palette right here. So this one definitely one for me. If I wanted more colorful shadows, I would reach for the Blend Bunny palette. So the Colourpop one, if you need an affordable option, it's good, but it's like I prefer the Blend Bunny one or the Colored Raine Vivid Pressed Pigments and Shadows palette. So I say my old school palette won over the new school palette just because this one has my heart, and I don't think the formula of the Colourpop one is as good as this one. So thank goodness I don't feel like they changed the formula in this, because honey, y'all don't know, I was afraid. I was legitimately afraid. But those are my thoughts on both the palettes. You can comment down below and tell me how you feel about each eye. Remember, this is the Colourpop eye and this is the Colored Raine eye. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.